The mountainous valley, where the morning mist hung like a white veil on the branches, witnessed the birth of a child whose destiny was not shaped among humans, but in the embrace of the wild nature. The mountains were his home. The sound of the river, his lullaby at night, the howls of wolves, his alarm every morning. No one called his name, no hand ever stroked his head. With every step on the damp soil, he had to learn that survival meant fighting. The child grew, his body becoming strong and resilient like a tree trunk, and his eyes shining like the clear sky after the rain. But to hide his face, or perhaps to frighten the world, he wore a mask of a wild boar. From that day on, all the animals of the mountains recognized him not as a human, but as a semi-wild creature. His voice was a roar, his movements reckless, his pride boundless. Inosuke never thought a world outside the mountains existed, but fate always finds its way. One day, when the scent of blood wafted through the air, he encountered a being unlike any animal, a demon. Cold skin, sharp teeth, and the scent of death. Inosuke attacked without hesitation. With the roar of his blunt, broken swords, he struck at the heart of the darkness. But at that moment, he realized there was a world larger and darker than the mountains. That battle was the beginning, a beginning of a path filled with blood, friendship, and heroism. From that day on, Inosuke pursued greater hunts. Whatever he found, he challenged. Whatever he saw, he wanted to conquer. His pride told him, "I must be the strongest." But soon he would meet those who would change his path. One day, when the weak sunlight shone through the branches, the sound of human footsteps reached him. Inosuke's ears pricked. A new scent filled the air, the scent of swords, the scent of determination, the scent of humans who were different. Through the mist appeared a boy with dark hair and red eyes, Tanjiro Kamado. Beside him walked a trembling blonde boy, Zenitsu. Slightly behind, a quiet girl carried a wooden box. Inosuke grinned wildly behind his boar mask. To him, they had only one meaning: fresh prey. Without a word, he charged like a whirlwind. Raising his swords, he shouted, "Fight! Show me if you're strong or not." Zenitsu screamed and hid behind Tanjiro, but Tanjiro did not retreat. He met Inosuke's fierce, restless gaze and said, "We are not your enemies." But Inosuke's ears were deaf to such words. To him, the world was simple. Either you are strong or you are nothing. Blades clashed. The sound of metal echoed through the mountains. Inosuke struck like a mad beast. But Tanjiro, he was different. Every movement was calculated, and something in his eyes glimmered, momentarily stopping Inosuke: kindness. The fight continued until Tanjiro, with a swift move, tore the boar mask from Inosuke's face. And suddenly, for the first time, Inosuke's real face was revealed. A beautiful, clear face with blue eyes like the sky, a strange contrast to his wild behavior. Zenitsu shouted in astonishment, "Wow, why is your face so beautiful?" Inosuke quickly put the mask back on and shouted, "Quiet, I am the strongest!" But inside him, something stirred. For the first time, he faced those who neither feared nor fled, but accepted him. From that fateful encounter, an invisible thread seemed to bind Inosuke to his three new companions. Though he never admitted to having companions, he always said, "I'm the strongest, you just follow me." But the truth was, from that moment, his path intertwined with theirs. Inosuke's first missions were like games. Every time the caw of a guide crow announced a new mission, his eyes sparkled from behind his mask. A deserted house, a cursed forest, or a city shrouded in shadow, it made no difference. For Inosuke, wherever there was an enemy, it meant a new chance to prove his strength. He always led the charge. With shouts, he plunged into the darkness without a thought for maps or strategy. His blunt swords struck ceaselessly, like a boar's teeth. Sometimes this recklessness caused trouble. Tanjiro had to follow to prevent him from needlessly risking his life. Zenitsu complained and screamed, "This crazy guy is going to get us killed too." But when the fight was over, they all knew. Inosuke's presence was like a storm on the battlefield, both dangerous and life-saving. After one of the heavy battles, when their bodies were wounded and their spirits tired, the group was brought to the Butterfly Mansion for rest. The mansion, with its calm atmosphere and smiling caretakers, was a blessing for Tanjiro and Zenitsu. But for Inosuke, strange and unusual, Accustomed to sleeping on rocks and drinking from rivers, he now had to lie on soft beds and take bitter medicine. He grumbled and argued with the nurses. But gradually, something within him calmed. At night, when everyone slept, he quietly watched the outside. The glow of fireflies danced in the garden. For the first time, his heart felt something strange, a feeling that he later understood as peace. It was here that new training began, breathing techniques, coordinated movements, and strengthening his body. Inosuke initially mocked it, but when he saw Tanjiro training with all his heart, his own pride flared. Ha! If he can do it, I can do it 100 times better. And so he did. Though he always claimed to be the strongest, he was slowly learning from his friends. A few days later, news arrived. A new mission, the destination, a long train called Mugen. When Inosuke saw the train, his eyes widened in surprise. What is this? A monster? An iron snake? Excitedly, he jumped up and down, wanting to run on its roof. For him, anything new had only one meaning: a new hunt. Once aboard, the scent of danger filled the air. Soon, the battle began. Monsters emerging from darkness, passengers' screams, and the train's trembling all set the stage for Inosuke's racing heart. As always, he plunged into the enemies with wild laughter and shouts. His sword sparkled, his muscles tensed, and every strike was accompanied by his cry, "I am the strongest." But this time was different. This time beside him fought someone unlike any other, Rengoku, the flame pillar. From the first moment, Inosuke was captivated. A man whose sword blazed like the sun, whose voice was full of confidence, whose gaze overflowed with hope. Inosuke thought to himself, "This one is stronger than anyone." And for the first time, not out of pride, but out of respect, he wanted to keep pace with someone. The Mugen train sped through the darkness. The main enemy finally appeared, a high-ranking demon, faster and stronger than anything Inosuke had ever seen. But in front of him stood Rengoku, eyes bright and heart ablaze. The battle began. Tanjiro and Inosuke could only watch from afar. The speed of the strikes surpassed their vision. Fire, sword, and shadow claws clashed in the air, each collision roaring like thunder. Inosuke, who always considered himself the strongest, trembled for the first time, but not from fear, from the magnitude of what he witnessed. He saw Rengoku wounded, bleeding, yet his smile never faded. Every strike he made carried a silent scream. "I am here so you may live." The fateful moment arrived. The enemy delivered a decisive blow. Rengoku, with his last strength, drove his sword in. Time seemed to stop. Inosuke clenched his fists. He wanted to run, to shout, to intervene, but all he could do was watch. The enemy, enveloped in darkness, retreated and vanished into the shadows. The train fell silent. Rengoku sat down slowly. His breaths were heavy, but his gaze remained bright. In a calm, reassuring voice, he told Tanjiro and the others that they must keep going. They must grow stronger. The future was in their hands. Behind his mask, Inosuke felt something he had never known: tears. He always shouted, always laughed, always proclaimed himself the strongest. But now, his heart had learned something it had never experienced. Being the strongest means sacrifice. When the sun rose, Rengoku's flame faded. Tanjiro's cry split the sky. Zenitsu wept. And Inosuke, he looked at the passengers and shouted, "You don't understand. Rengoku won, because he never backed down." From that day, Inosuke was no longer just a wild boy. The boar mask still covered his face. His pride still roared, but deep within, a spark had ignited. A spark of friendship, courage, and a vow.